Stop chasing others. Stop running after people who were never meant to be your direction. Stop begging for attention from those who can't even see your value. Stop chasing validation that you already have within yourself. You keep waiting for someone else to notice you. You keep hoping that someone will finally see your worth. But let me tell you something. You don't need their approval to be valuable. You don't need their recognition to be great. You don't need their applause to move forward. You are not here to impress anyone. You are here to become everything you were meant to be. When you stop chasing others, you start finding yourself. When you stop begging for love, you start creating peace. When you stop waiting for opportunities to come through someone else, you start building your own path. You can't find your purpose while following someone else's footsteps. You can't find your strength while seeking someone else's comfort. The truth is, the more you chase people, the further you drift from your own growth, because chasing others makes you forget who you are. You become their version of you instead of your real self. You start changing your voice, your walk, your choices, just to fit into someone else's idea of acceptable. You weren't born to be a copy. You were born to be original. You were born to lead, to build, to create. But you can't do any of that if your energy is scattered chasing people who don't even care if you're in their circle or not. You need to pull back that energy and redirect it toward yourself. Every time you feel ignored, every time you feel rejected, every time you feel unwanted, take that pain and pour it into becoming better, because that's how transformation begins. See, the moment you stop chasing, you start attracting. The moment you stop begging, you start becoming. Because you no longer act from desperation. You act from purpose. You no longer say, please notice me. You start saying, I'll build something so great you can't ignore me. That's power. That's self-worth. That's evolution. You have to stop living for other people's opinions and start living for your own standards. Every time you try to fit into someone else's box, you shrink your potential. Every time you dim your light to make others comfortable, you betray your purpose. Every time you lower your standards just to feel accepted, you lose a piece of your soul. You need to remember this. You are not too much. You are not too loud. You are not too different. You are just too real for the wrong crowd. If you're always chasing people, you'll always feel exhausted because you're giving energy where it's not being returned. You're trying to fill cups that have no bottom. You're trying to prove your worth to people who don't even know their own. Stop doing that. Start building yourself instead. Wake up and pour into your goals. Work on your craft. Improve your mind. Grow your discipline. Because success doesn't chase the distracted. Success finds the focused. When you start working on yourself, you start seeing results that no one can take away. When you build your mind, no one can manipulate you. When you build your skills, no one can replace you. When you build your peace, no one can disturb you. That's real power. That's self-mastery. That's the life you deserve. Stop giving people the power to define you. Stop waiting for them to love you before you love yourself. Stop hoping they'll support you before you move. You move anyway. You grow anyway. You win anyway. You don't need a crowd to confirm your calling. You don't need approval to be anointed. You just need belief and consistency. That's it. Because the world eventually recognizes those who don't quit. You have to learn to be your own motivator, your own cheerleader, your own rescue, because sometimes no one will clap for you. Sometimes no one will understand you. Sometimes no one will see what you're doing behind the scenes. But that's okay. That's how greatness is built. Greatness grows in silence. Greatness grows in rejection. Greatness grows in isolation. The people you're chasing today will one day wish they had your strength. The ones who ignored you will one day study your moves. The ones who doubted you will one day quote your words. But none of that will happen if you keep chasing. You have to stop and refocus. Every minute you spend chasing someone else's path is a minute stolen from your own purpose. Work on yourself until you don't need to explain yourself. Work on your peace until chaos becomes boring. Work on your goals until you forget who doubted you. Work on your mind until no insult can reach you. That's the power of personal growth. When you start focusing on your improvement, you start creating a life that speaks louder than any apology or validation ever could. You don't need to announce your grind. You don't need to prove your worth. You just need to become undeniable. Because when you become undeniable, opportunities start chasing you. When you master yourself, the world starts to notice. When you discipline yourself, blessings start finding you. But it all begins when you stop chasing others and start chasing purpose. Don't let social media fool you. You don't need to keep up with anyone. You don't need to compare your progress to theirs. Everyone's timing is different. Everyone's journey has its own rhythm. Some people reach success at 20, others at 40. But what matters is that you keep moving. You keep learning. You keep growing. Because real success isn't about being ahead of others. It's about being ahead of who you used to be. When you stop chasing people, you get your power back. When you stop explaining your worth, you get your peace back. When you stop begging for attention, you get your focus back. That's how you rise. Quietly, powerfully, unapologetically. You build. You grow. You evolve. You let your progress speak for itself. There's nothing wrong with wanting love. There's nothing wrong with wanting support. But when those things come at the cost of your self-worth, that's not love. That's dependency. You can't depend on people who haven't even discovered themselves yet. You can't expect consistency from the inconsistent. You can't seek peace from the restless. Build yourself so strong that you don't chase love. You attract it. Build your vision so clear that you don't chase opportunities. You create them. Build your mindset so focused that you don't chase validation. You embody it. One day, you'll thank yourself for walking away. You'll thank yourself for not chasing what wasn't meant for you. You'll thank yourself for choosing peace over pressure, growth over gossip, focus over fantasy. You'll thank yourself for realizing that the real glow up was internal. Because when you fix the inside, the outside follows. When you heal the wounds, the world opens up. When you stop chasing others, life starts chasing you. Remember this. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are just being prepared. Prepared for the right people, the right moments, the right season. So stop chasing temporary things and start investing in permanent growth. Every time you focus on you, you win twice because you grow and you glow. So stop running after people who don't see you. Stop wasting your energy proving your worth. Stop trying to be liked by those who don't even like themselves. Stop explaining your vision to those who are blind to it. Focus on building the best version of you, because one day, the same people who ignored your worth will need what you built in silence. And by then, you won't need their approval. You'll be too busy living your purpose. The moment you stop chasing others, you start finding yourself. The moment you stop running after people who don't see your worth, something inside you begins to wake up. Because for so long, you've been focused on proving your value to people who were never meant to understand you. You tried to fit into spaces that were too small for your dreams. You tried to hold on to people who were not meant to stay. You tried to please everyone, forgetting that you were losing yourself in the process. But when you finally stop chasing, that's when you begin to see who you really are. You start to notice your own power, your own strength, your own light that was buried under the weight of wanting to be accepted. You see, life changes when you stop chasing, because chasing drains your soul. It makes you feel like you're not enough, like you have to keep proving something just to be seen. You start giving too much, caring too much, hoping too much for people who don't even give a fraction of that energy back. You become addicted to validation, and you forget your own voice. You start questioning your worth based on how others treat you. But your worth has nothing to do with their recognition. Your worth was written in you the day you were born. It doesn't depend on who stays or who leaves. It doesn't depend on who loves you or who ignores you. It's permanent, it's divine, it's yours. When you stop chasing others, you reclaim your time, your peace, your focus. You start realizing that your energy is precious. You stop wasting it on things and people that drain it. You start investing it in your growth, your dreams, your peace of mind. You begin to understand that you can't grow if you're always begging for attention. You can't heal if you keep running after people who broke you. You can't rise if you're constantly looking sideways, comparing your life to others. You need to look forward, straight ahead, because that's where your purpose lies. That's where your destiny is waiting. The truth is, most people chase others because they're afraid to be alone. But being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. Being alone means you're finally in the right company, your own. It means you get the time to hear your own thoughts, to feel your own emotions, to rebuild your own soul. It's in solitude that you grow. It's in silence that you gain clarity. It's in peace that you remember your power. When you stop chasing others, you start chasing your dreams, you start chasing peace, chasing purpose, chasing that higher version of yourself that was waiting all along. You were never meant to spend your life begging people to stay. The ones meant for you will never make you chase them. They'll meet you where you are. They'll value your energy. They'll match your effort. You won't have to force a connection that's real. Real people don't run from love. They run from confusion. They run from games. They run from inconsistency. And maybe that's why you had to go through the pain of chasing the wrong ones, to finally recognize the right ones. Because sometimes you need to lose people to find yourself. You need to be rejected to be redirected. You need to feel empty so you can fill yourself with purpose again. The moment you stop chasing, your mind clears up. You begin to see what really matters. You start realizing how much time you wasted trying to fit in, trying to please, trying to explain yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. You start realizing how much of your power you gave away just to feel included. But the truth is, you were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. You were created to lead. And leaders don't chase, they attract. They attract peace, purpose, and progress. Stop chasing people who make you question your worth. Stop chasing opportunities that force you to compromise your values. Stop chasing attention that disappears when you stop performing. Because what's real will never require you to chase it. What's yours will find you when you're ready for it. The love meant for you will recognize your energy. The success meant for you will respond to your discipline. The peace meant for you will arrive when you stop begging for chaos to change. When you stop chasing, you give yourself permission to rest. You give yourself permission to breathe. You give yourself permission to grow at your own pace. You start to see that your journey is not behind anyone. You start to see that timing is personal. You stop comparing your day 1 to someone else's year 10. You start trusting the process again. Because the reason you were tired wasn't because you were doing too much. It's because you were doing too much for the wrong reasons. You were running after approval when you should have been running after purpose. You were chasing acceptance when you should have been chasing alignment. You can't find peace trying to please people who thrive on your chaos. You can't find growth when your energy is spent trying to prove something to those who never believed in you anyway. The moment you stop chasing others, you take your power back. You start focusing that same energy on building your confidence, on working on your dreams, on upgrading your mindset. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop worrying and start working. You stop depending and start deciding. That's when things start changing. Your peace begins when your need for validation ends. Your strength grows when your fear of being alone dies. Your power expands when you stop chasing people and start chasing purpose. Because purpose doesn't drain you, it fills you. It gives you something bigger to live for. And once you find it, you'll never chase anything small again. Sometimes the universe will strip away the people you keep chasing just to remind you who you are without them. It will close doors you keep knocking on because it knows you deserve better. It will silence voices that keep distracting you because it knows your peace is priceless. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Let them go. Let them walk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them leave. Because every exit clears the path for something better to enter. Every rejection clears the space for something real to grow. Every ending is just the beginning of your freedom. You don't have to chase people who are meant for you. You don't have to beg for what's yours. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone who can't see it. All you have to do is become so focused on your growth that chasing anyone else feels like an interruption. That's where your power lies. In your stillness, in your silence, in your self-respect. When you stop chasing, you start elevating. You start realizing that peace feels better than attention. That alignment feels better than popularity. That progress feels better than validation. You stop chasing temporary highs and start creating permanent growth. You stop seeking shortcuts and start building foundations. You stop wanting to be seen and start wanting to be fulfilled. It's not easy to stop chasing because it feels natural to want to be wanted. It feels comforting to be noticed. But the truth is, chasing others comes from fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of missing out. fear of being left behind. But once you face that fear, it loses control over you. Once you choose yourself, you stop fearing loneliness. You start loving solitude. You start enjoying your own company. You start realizing that peace of mind is the highest form of wealth. The real glow up happens when you stop chasing and start healing. When you stop begging and start believing. When you stop proving and start becoming. You can't pour your energy into becoming the best version of yourself while trying to hold on to people who only drain that energy. Let them go. Let the old version of you go. Because every time you chase others, you delay your evolution. The truth is, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to fix your life. No one's coming to validate your worth. It's on you. The sooner you accept that, the freer you become. When you stop chasing others, you take responsibility for your life. You stop blaming people for not giving you what you never gave yourself. You stop expecting love that you haven't yet learned to give yourself. You stop waiting for others to choose you because you already did. Every time you choose peace over drama, you find yourself. Every time you say no to what doesn't align, you find yourself. Every time you walk away from what hurts your soul, you find yourself. And that's what growth looks like. Quiet, intentional, powerful. You don't need to chase love when you are love. You don't need to chase respect when you live with integrity. You don't need to chase success when you're consistent. So stop chasing. Stop explaining. Stop running. Just stand still and look within, because everything you were chasing in others has been inside you all along. Your growth doesn't require their approval. It never did, and it never will, because your path is yours, your pain is yours, your lessons are yours, and your purpose belongs only to you, not to the opinions of people who were never meant to walk your road. You keep waiting for people to clap for you, to validate your next step, to approve your dreams, but they won't, and even if they do, their approval will never fill the empty space that only your own belief can fill. You have to understand that greatness doesn't announce itself with applause. It announces itself through quiet consistency, through the unseen work, through the sacrifices that no one talks about. When you start to rise, you'll notice silence from those who once said they supported you, because your progress threatens the comfort of their stagnation. And when you start moving differently, they'll call you distant, they'll call you arrogant, they'll call you changed. But that's exactly what growth is supposed to look like. It's not supposed to please them. It's supposed to free you. The moment you stop living for approval, you start living with purpose. And that's when everything begins to shift. You don't need to explain your vision to people who can't even see the first step, because your dreams weren't sent to their inbox. They were placed in your heart for a reason. You were built with a specific fire that burns differently, and you can't let the fear of judgment put out your flame. Most people who doubt you are just reflecting their own limitations. They project their fear onto your journey because they never had the courage to start theirs. So when they say you can't do it, what they really mean is they couldn't do it, and that's not your business to fix. Your business is to move, to grow, to evolve, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you feel misunderstood, even when your support system becomes silent, because your success doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being disciplined. It comes from being consistent when no one is watching. It comes from waking up with a fire that says, I'm not done yet. I haven't even started showing what I'm capable of. You've got to learn how to walk alone for a season, because solitude teaches you what the crowd never will. It shows you your own power. It exposes the distractions, and it reminds you that you never needed permission to become better. Every time you wait for approval, you delay your breakthrough. Every time you look around for validation, you weaken your own conviction, because no one knows the weight of your dreams except you. No one has cried your tears. No one has fought your silent battles. No one has carried your fears at midnight and still decided to move forward. So why would you let someone who doesn't even understand your pain decide how far you should go? You have to stop asking people who've never built anything to validate your foundation. They can't see your vision because they weren't given your blueprint. Your growth will confuse them because they're still living in comfort, but you were born for more. When you decide to grow, everything changes. Your habits shift, your circle shifts, your conversations shift, and not everyone will understand that. Some will fall away. Some will criticize you. Some will call you fake, but you can't shrink yourself just to fit the version of you that they're comfortable with. They knew the old you, not the one that's emerging now. And the one that's emerging doesn't need applause to move. You're not supposed to make everyone understand. You're supposed to evolve beyond the need to explain. People who are truly meant to stay in your life will respect your growth, even if it outpaces theirs, because real ones clap even when it's not their turn, and the rest will fade, not because you hate them, but because growth doesn't negotiate with comfort. Understand this: approval is a trap that looks like love, but it's really control. When you depend on people's opinions, you start adjusting your potential to fit their preferences. And that's how dreams die quietly, not from lack of opportunity, but from fear of disapproval. The world doesn't reward people who wait for permission. It rewards those who move regardless, those who keep building when no one's watching, those who keep believing even when the results are invisible. Because your growth will always look strange before it looks strong. It'll look lonely before it looks successful. It'll look confusing before it looks clear. But that's the process. That's how real change happens. You have to trust the work even when it's not glamorous, even when it's quiet, even when no one's celebrating you, because that's where transformation lives. In the quiet corners of your discipline, people will talk, they'll whisper, they'll speculate, but let them, because while they talk, you're transforming. While they judge, you're growing. While they sleep, you're building. Your focus should never be to prove them wrong. Your focus should be to prove yourself right. The best revenge isn't success, it's peace. It's walking so deeply in your purpose that their opinions sound like echoes from a distance. Growth demands that you become unapologetic about your mission, that you stop negotiating with distractions, that you start saying no to anything that doesn't feed your future. You have to protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your explanation. Your dreams are not up for public debate. When you stop seeking approval, you'll start attracting alignment, the right people, the right opportunities, the right energy. Everything starts to move in sync. when you stop forcing what doesn't belong. Because growth isn't about adding more. Sometimes it's about letting go. Letting go of the need to be understood. Letting go of the fear of rejection. Letting go of the weight of other people's expectations. And in that letting go, you'll find peace, because peace comes when you finally understand that you were never meant to please everyone. You were meant to fulfill your purpose, and your purpose doesn't need applause. It needs commitment. It needs focus. It needs faith. When you understand that, everything changes. You'll notice how light you feel when you stop trying to convince people of your worth, because your worth doesn't need an audience. It's defined by your effort, your resilience, your faith, your persistence. The opinions of others are temporary, but your growth is permanent. They can't cancel what they didn't create. So stop living in fear of their rejection. Rejection is redirection. It's protection from things not meant for you. Sometimes their disapproval is divine proof that you're on the right path, because the higher you climb, the thinner the air gets, and not everyone can breathe at your altitude. Your growth will make people uncomfortable because it reminds them of what they're not doing. But that's not your responsibility. You can't dim your light to make others feel safe in their shadows. You were meant to rise. You were meant to shine. And every time you hold yourself back, you disrespect the version of you that fought to get here. Remember the days you prayed to be where you are. Remember the nights you cried for clarity. And now that you're stepping into it, don't let opinions pull you out of your purpose. Your growth is your gift to the world. It's proof that change is possible. It's proof that faith works. It's proof that pain can be turned into power, but only if you stop waiting for permission. So keep going, even when they don't clap, even when they misunderstand you, even when you feel alone, because you're not alone. The universe recognizes your effort, and life rewards the brave, the disciplined, the ones who show up regardless. Keep building your future. Keep protecting your peace. Keep trusting your vision, because one day, the same people who doubted you will quote you. The same ones who ignored you will study you. The same ones who questioned you will wish they had your courage. Your growth doesn't need their approval. It only needs your decision to keep going